Question. Hi everyone, it was declared by IRCC that they resumed processing of study permits from July 1st, but we haven't heard of any visa approval status. It would be very kind if you can give expected timeline as roughly a month from class start. So as I mentioned, because VACs remain closed, there's no way for us to issue visas, so hence this two-stage process. So please be satisfied that the AIP letters will soon be forthcoming, and that once you get your AIP letter, you should be confident in moving forward with your study plan. Next question. Permit 2 months ago through SDS route. However, the status of my application continues to indicate as submitted. My course will commence 9 August 2020. Is IRCC consider fast-tracking applications for universities commencing fall intake in August 2020? So, like I said, we're working through all of the applications as quickly as possible. We can only make an AIP decision for applications where all of the documents are there for AIP. In terms of the two-stage process, as long as your application was submitted before the start of your classes and you are able to get an AIP at a later date, all of that time will count towards your postgraduate work permit if that is the concern. Next question. I updated my LOA with September 03 in the CIC website. Now my college has changed its reopening date to September 23rd, so I need to update my LOA. So yes, ideally, only because in case there are questions at the border or by the airline, which go through our border services agency, it would be good to ensure that we have accurate details of your program. If you choose not to provide us with an updated LOA, you may be requested to provide this to the port of entry officer anyways. So just make sure that the documents you have are accurate because it's to your benefit. Next question. New rules for PGWP. Can you please explain in brief that how 50% courses will count as subjects or as semester? So it's semester. And it's not 50% of the semester, it's 50% of your entire program. So if the fall 2020 semester is online, the fall 2020 semester must be a full-time course load. Part-time course load will not count towards your PGWP. It must be a full-time course load. A full-time course load for that semester, then the amount of that semester will count towards your PGWP. Next question. Month of Feb and are still waiting for decisions in SDS. There are no updates after March in SDS category. Please suggest when we can expect decisions. I think this question was asked already, and I've already answered this. Next question. When will VAC reopen? This has also already been answered. If VACs are not open, how will IRCC address the problem are placed so that visa process will begin? So like I mentioned, most of the programs for fall 2020 are online. With the AIP process, any time that you spend on studies on a full-time course load will count towards your PGWP. You can start your studies in India or Nepal or wherever you may be, and confidently move through your program knowing that all the time that you're investing will count towards PGWP later. Right now, we do not have an ETA on when VACs will reopen. So, and frankly, with the state of the pandemic and, Canada's still recovering, India still hasn't peaked, these are all issues that are contributing to this VAC closure. These are some things that we just have to work through, and these are currently the solutions we have to help you gain some confidence in investing in a Canadian education. Next question. PTE is accepted or not because of lots of students getting mail that submit original IELTS or CELPIP language proficiency results, and they have submitted PTE results along with verification details. I'm not quite sure what the question is, but as I mentioned, we can accept PTE as long as you provide us with online access to your results. Next question. I have an offer for 2021 intake. I will be applying for visa in August 2020, but my IELTS is expiring in September 2020. Do I need to retake it? No, we will accept it. Next question. Is this possible that we can travel to Canada near January? So at this time, the current Travel restrictions are in place, and they're in place until August 31st. I do not know if they will be, as of September 1st, if they will be extended or they will be amended. We will just have to wait. So I cannot make a prediction of what travel restrictions, if any, might exist, like closer to January. Next question. PTE score verification. We need to submit login credentials, link PTE to IELTS conversation, or we need to submit any other thing too. So for PTE's results, through the PTE system, you can send your results to IRCC. Like that's what you need to do with your results. And then once you send it through the system to IRCC, PTE allows us to view those results. That's what you need to do. Next question. Is it true that people can start study online even if they don't have AIP? If yes, is this kind of indication that all fall applicants will not receive decision before fall starts? So you can frankly start your program anytime you want to. It all depends on what you want out of your program. If all you want is a postgraduate work permit, then if you want a stronger guarantee, not a complete guarantee, then yes, wait for AIP. But technically, if you submit your study permit application for September 15, and you get an AIP later, your fall 2020 semester will still count towards your postgraduate work permit. Next question. If the student has overall 65 in PTE, which is equivalent 7.0 bands to IELTS, so he is eligible for SDS category? No. SDS category strictly only accepts IELTS results. They do not accept any other type. If you choose to submit language test results from anything but IELTS, you will be moved to the non-SDS stream. Next question. Is two-stage approval process applicable to SDS applicants who had completed their application along with medicals and biometrics? Yes, absolutely. So the two-stage approval isn't stream specific. It applies to all applications that are currently in our inventory. This is essentially trying to make up for the fact that the VACs are closed and we can't issue visas, right? And also to make up for the fact that there are certain things that you can't submit for your application to be concluded, like medicals or biometrics. In this question, they're saying that medicals and biometrics are already in. And because the VACs are still closed, we can't issue you that visa. Hence, we're going to be providing you an AIP letter so that you have confidence that you will likely get a visa later. Next question. Student visa on January 2020 and is processing at New Delhi office, and I haven't heard about my final decision yet. I've provided new LOA as applied for spring and now deferred to fall, and my course starts September 8. When can I expect my decision? So I've answered this question previously, that we are working very hard to try to get through all of the applications before the fall 2020 semester. Next question. If students enroll in a hybrid course for fall 2020 and in-person presence is mandatory, then what to do? Study permit pending, VFS closed, stamping pending, travel restrictions, kindly provide a clear solution. So the current travel restrictions in place until August 31st, only persons with visas issued before March 18, 2020 will be able to travel to Canada. So if you've submitted your application and, as you mentioned in your question, stamping pending, you cannot travel to Canada anytime right now. Perhaps if the travel restrictions are lifted later this fall, you might be able to travel. Next question. My college has listed my course as hybrid, so I would need to be present in Canada to attend to my classes. I'm also waiting for my visa to be approved, so I've already answered this. It's the same question from the previous one. Next question. In case of an online semester, if I receive a reject for first stage study permit approval post the semester starts, how would that affect the length of my PGWP, and could I still continue my program? What would be the best scenario to defer? So you're saying that you were rejected at the first stage. So if you're rejected at the first stage, your application is refused. Like, that's the bottom line. We stop processing if you fail stage 1. So it's up to, you can decide if you want to still continue with your program because you're still learning something new, you're doing some self-improvement. These are good things too, right? So it's up to you on what you want and expect out of this education. It's up to you to decide if you want to continue or not. Next question. Students have submitted their files for student visa online in March. When will they get the results? So I've already answered this question. We're working hard to get you all of your AIP decisions as soon as possible. Next question. There will be any changes in deferring intakes or changing programs due to this COVID? So in terms of deferring intakes, you need to speak to your DLI, because IRCC has no jurisdiction or control over this. Next question. I want to know how much time Canadian government will take to give first principle approval to international students. So I believe that some letters are already going out. We're going to try to get you the AIP letters as soon as possible. Next question. I have studied in Canada from January 2017 to May 2019 in one of the reputed University of Windsor. And this question is not finished. Okay. Next question. When will IRCC issuing the AIP visa for the fall intake students, which they said would be given first priority as of now, since studies will start very soon within the next 3 or 4 weeks. So we're working hard. We've already begun sending some of these letters out. We will try to get all of your letters out as soon as possible. Next question. I have some concerns like AIPs being issued in Philippines, Vietnam. When will it start in India? Secondly, students with full files submitted will receive final results. Will a plethora of files result in negative trend as said or not? So, AIP letters are already being sent out. We hope to get everyone's AIP letters out as soon as possible. So please be patient. For the second part of the question, will student full files submitted receive final results? As I said, we cannot issue visas because the VACs are closed. So if your application is to be approved, you will not get a visa until VACs reopen. Now, in terms of refusals, because there's no need for your passport for us to let you know that your application has been refused, you may receive your refusal letter through your online account or via email. So you can check that for updates on your cases. So if you don't hear from us, your case may likely be waiting for visa approval. Otherwise, your application may be, you may receive a refusal letter soon on your application. Next question. I submitted an application on 7 July 2020. I've submitted all documents required under SDS, including medical, only left biometrics, but VACs aren't open. Will I be able to receive AIP before my class in September? Yes. If you have provided all of the other required documents, yes. Next question. I have 2 rejection for a visitor visa. I want to know, will this affect my second stage approval, or will it be examined in first stage? So this will factor in the second stage, and if you've had 2 previous visa refusals, as long as you've declared them on your application, and that the reasons for those refusals aren't something serious. So, for example, if you were previously refused from the U.S. because you are a criminal or a terrorist or a spy, these are things that will likely get you refused for Canada as well. However, if the reason for refusal was related to eligibility, for example, for the U.S., they didn't believe that you were a genuine student, or they didn't think you had enough money to attend school. These are things that are fixable in your application for Canada, and you can address them there. So that shouldn't factor. Next question. Will everyone receive an AIP before class start in September? That is our goal, and we are working very hard to do this. Next question. When is ban on flights uplifting in Canada is opening border for international students? So the current travel ban is currently in place until August 31st. We will see closer to that date whether or not there will be changes to this travel ban. At this time, I do not know. Next question. Please elaborate by when applicants that have submitted a complete application, including biometrics and medical, will hear on their stage 1 approvals. We submitted in March, have not heard from IRCC, while those other countries applied in June and got AIP. So letters are already being submitted, sent to you. So just be patient, and please continue to check your online accounts or your email for these letters to come through. Next question. What about those people who have research-based courses? In order to complete their thesis, they would be required to be in Canada physically to carry out their research. Also, some people are given 100% scholarship, and in order to access that, they have to have a bank account and SIN number, which they can't get if they are not in Canada. These are some real issues that students are facing. Can you please clarify as to if these students can come under exemption to travel? We have support letter also. So, If there is so number one, travel restriction. If your visa was not issued on or before March 18, there's just no way for you to travel despite what your circumstances may be. We have no control over this. Number two, if there is a valid reason for you to be physically in Canada, for example, the research you need to carry requires your physical presence in Canada, then if you met the first part, meaning you had a visa issued on or before March 18, and you have documentation from your DLI to demonstrate that your physical presence is required for these reasons, then yes, you should be able to travel. Next question. What is the internet speed we required for online classes? Check with your institution. I do not know how much bandwidth they expect you to use. Next question. Do these new rules, regulations, and methods of getting student visa apply to winter 2021 intake too? No, they only apply to fall 2020. There is a potential that they could be extended to winter 2021. At this time, it's only restricted to fall 2020. Next question. Hello, my 50% online study is going to complete in this August, and my visa is also going to expire this August. My college is not giving me a travel letter. What should I do without a letter? I can't travel, and what about my visa? So your college is likely not giving you a travel letter because your fall 2020, your September class is also online. This is what I'm guessing. So you need to discuss this with your college of whether or not you're going to defer so that you can do the other 50% in Canada, or you can, this doesn't prevent you from doing your complete program here. Just that if your goal is to get that postgraduate work permit, then this is something you have to think about. So, and that's completely your decision. We do not advise, we're not giving any advice in this matter. Next question. Many students submitted a completed application including biometrics back in months of Feb and March and haven't gotten updates. Some students already deferred their classes from May to September as they couldn't secure a visa in time. And this question is unfinished. Next question. My course for September intake would start on 7 September and I applied for study permit a month back. So what would be the processing time? There are no current processing times because we have limited service at the mission. However, we have sister offices in Canada also working very hard to help us with our workload and to try to get you your AIP decisions before the start of the fall 2020 semester. Next question. Can a student apply for visa for winter 2021 now, or do we need to wait until 15 September as is the deadline for fall intake? No, you can apply for any visa as early as you like. Next question. I submitted my student file on March 3rd and did not see any update in GC Key account. My class starts September 3rd. What should I do? Please be patient. We're trying to get through all of the applications, and hopefully you'll hear from us soon about your AIP. According to VFS, reopening depends on directives from local government and client consulates. Indian government has given go-ahead since VFS centers are open for other countries, so when will Canadian High Commission allow the reopening of VFS? I do not have an ETA of when the Canadian VFS or VAX will reopen. We are monitoring the situation, and you should check the VFS website for updates on reopening. Next question. I need a suggestion when January intake students apply for visa. What's the ideal time for it? Apply anytime and, frankly, as soon as possible. Next question. I applied for study permit through online SDS on March 16. My application is a complete application. I have classes starting for upcoming weeks. Will my application get processed within upcoming weeks? So for AIP, yes, we're trying to get through as many applications as possible so that you get your AIP letter. In terms of visa issuance, not until VAX reopen. Next question. What if we don't get our study permit before September 15, then what will be the next step? So as long as your application is submitted before September 15, you will qualify for this two-stage process. And that even if you get an AIP later down the line, if you start your fall 2020 semester online, it will still count towards your PGWP. Next question. It's been 100 plus days since we applied for visa. We hope IRCC would issue a study permit soon. So as I mentioned, VACs are closed. We cannot issue visas at this time. Next question. If I apply for September intake before August 10, do you think it will be processed on time? And will I get principal in approval before the college starts? So please apply as soon as possible. Please don't wait until the last minute. It's to your benefit. The more time you give yourself, the better chance you have at getting your AIP before your classes start, if that's what you want. However, as I mentioned before, the current policy is if you submit your application before September 15, even if you get your AIP later down the line, it's okay. The fall 2020 semester will still count towards your postgraduate work permit. But here's the thing. Like, the sooner you get a response in your application, so say, for example, your application was refused because you forgot something, or you need to address something that was deficient in your application. If you applied early enough, you can at least reapply again and address that deficiency. But if you apply very last minute, you may not be able to refile before that September 15 deadline, and then you're stuck. So give yourself as much time as possible because it's to your benefit. Apply as soon as possible. Do not delay. Next question. Are SDS applications still processed quicker compared to regular applications? So ideally, yes. We are trying to process SDS applications as quickly as possible. Right now, because of the pandemic and lockdown restrictions and movement restrictions, whether here in India or in Canada, we have staffing limitations in operations. So really, that's the main reason why the processing times normally posted are inaccurate. But we are trying to get through as many applications as possible before the fall 2020 start. Next question. They didn't allow me to take because of fresh international arrival. Secondly, many institutions suspended summer intake because of ongoing pandemic and restrictions. My institution was also same-list. My semester shifted from summer intake to fall. Again, there's no question in this, so I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Next, I have submitted my visa application on 25th June 2020, but till date I haven't received my AIP. So when will I get my AIP? There is no time frame. Please be patient. We are working hard to get you all the AIP decisions as soon as possible. Next question. Did IRCC started processing SDS applications? Yes. Next question. I'm a student. My father wants travel, so how can he do that? Our visitor visa is being processed. Will he be allowed to enter Canada? Please guide. No. So, yes, visitor visas are being processed, but however, they are restricted from traveling to Canada anytime soon. So, number one, we can't issue visas because of the VAC closure. Number two, under current travel restrictions, he won't be able to come to Canada anyways. So, he'll have to wait until travel restrictions are lifted and VACs reopen if he wants to travel. Next, if my course is hybrid for the first semester, are there any changes of my visa being rejected? We won't refuse an application because one semester is a hybrid semester. This will not factor in our decision making. And frankly, whether or not a course is online or in person also doesn't really factor in our decision making. We understand that this pandemic has sort of disrupted the fall 2020 semester and frankly almost all the semesters of this year. So whether it's online, hybrid, or in person does not factor in our decision making. Next question. As it's seen, there are no updates on visa approvals for any Indian student after March 18, whereas students from neighboring countries are receiving approvals. Students in Sri Lanka are receiving approvals as well as stamping are done as VFS there are operational. VFS in Pakistan are operational. Students from Bangladesh have started receiving approvals under AIP first stage. Why is there no update for student visa in India? Because most of the country is still under lockdown and the COVID situation is still deteriorating. Containment zones continue to increase daily. Need I go on? Next, VFS in Mumbai have not yet started, but has started all other countries except Canada. Why is that? When can we expect it to start? So we're monitoring the situation, and We do not have an ETA of when the reopening will happen. Please monitor the VFS website for reopening dates. Next question. Since 50% of the course can be completed from home without affecting PGWP, how is the 50% criteria applied to those enrolled in one-year master's program, viz. 1 term from home or 6 months from home country? That's 1 term from home, if it's a 2-term program. When will IRCC issue a visa who applied in Feb, when VACs reopen? Next question. I have already applied for study permit in June 2020. Would I be granted study permit? When VACs reopen, we can issue visas. Next. Want to check if I study online classes from my home country and work as full-time employee in a company. Will it affect my profile at time of application for PR? No. So basically, my relieving date and my course start date won't match. They'll overlap. Will this be an issue on my PR application? No. Next question. I have applied for visa in the month of June and still no updates. My classes will be beginning September. When will I get first stage approval? We're working hard to get those to you as soon as possible. Next question. My study permit got approved on March 3rd, 2020. My first term is fully remote and conducted in real time in Canada. So college provided me a arrival support letter to consider my travel as essential. So am I eligible to enter the borders? No, because your classes are still online, and it's only about the time difference. So to us, this is not an essential reason to travel. An essential reason to travel is that your physical presence is required. Next, if we don't get visa before term start, then what will we do? Defer. Also, if drop date is passed, what will we do? This is up to you to decide if you want to continue with your program or defer and wait for your visa. But like I said, the AIP process, this 2-stage process is in place to give you the confidence to continue with your fall 2020 semester online if you need to. Next. Yesterday, IRCC issued a guideline in which online studies considered as distance learning that does not count for PGWP. Please clarify. So it's not distance learning. So classes that are normally in person but have had to move online because of the pandemic, all of those classes, if they would normally qualify for a postgraduate work permit, will still qualify for a postgraduate work permit if they are now online. This is what this guideline is trying to say. The other type of distance learning is the type of courses or programs where even pre-pandemic, they were already online. Like there have never been in-person classes. It is those types of courses that will not count towards your postgraduate work permit. Next question. The visa before 18 March, and I have all the required documents, paid my fee in GIC 8 months ago, and I mortgaged my property, took a loan for higher studies from bank. I'm paying interest. Now I'm hopeless and depressed. Need quick action. Yes, we understand. But like I said, we're working hard to get your AIP decision soon. Next question. Why are Indians not getting update and other country applicants getting update? So if you mean visas, it's because our VACs are still closed. Next question. Is PTE acceptable under SDS category? So I answer this. SDS is strictly IELTS only. Next question. With every communication with VFS centers in India, they state they are waiting for High Commission in India to open up. When does High Commission plan to send such a directive? When we deem it safe enough to reopen the VACs. Next question. Please mention time limit for processing completed applications. There is no time frame right now because we're working on limited capacity. But we are working hard to get these applications processed at least until the AIP stage. Next question. As my course has hybrid delivery format, my college has asked me to be physically present in Canada by August 27. Okay, so if you have a visa before March 18, yes, you could be eligible to travel. But if your visa has not yet been issued, then no, because you're still under travel restrictions. Next, can you please let me know if general IELTS is accepted for study permit? No. Next, what is the processing time for AIP? After AIP, how long will it take to get the visa? So processing time for AIP, there is no time frame. As I mentioned before, in terms of getting a visa, when VACs reopen. Next.